I'm Jade McNeil and welcome to the BEESPACE Podcast, your bi-weekly dose of business and property realness. No hype, no fluff, and definitely no BS. Just honest conversations about what it really takes to build something from nothing. Well, hello. Welcome back to the BEESPACE Podcast. I'm so excited about my guest today on the podcast. This is a lady that I've known for many, many years because of the wonderful platform that we all know and love of Instagram. And we've kind of been in contact a lot over the years. I think in a weird way, our lives have kind of taken similar paths, I guess, at similar times. And actually, over the past couple of months, I've been really lucky enough to support her on a one-to-one basis to help her build the new thing that we're going to be talking about today. But before we jump into that, hello, Charlene. Welcome to the BEESPACE Podcast.
Hi. Welcome to Northern Ireland as well.
Yes, and you have the best Irish accent ever, which I love. So look, let's jump straight into this. You know, you, like I just said in your intro, have got so much development experience and such a story to tell. I know where you are now, and we're going to get to that. But like, take me back. Where did this all begin?
So 2014, I had my wee boy, and 2015, I was just, kind of thinking, do I want to go back to employment? What do I want to do? I absolutely was loving being a mum, and the thought of going back to 60-hour weeks I was a technical architect before, and like web developer of a web development team. So I just didn't feel that was the right place for me anymore. So I had already two houses in a property portfolio, very small, but like I could see that they were providing me an income while I was on maternity, and my job wasn't. I had 6 weeks maternity pay, and I just thought after 18 years of working in IT, I actually had no pay. So yeah, I kind of thought, I've always loved property. I've, been brought up on location, Sarah Beanie, Homes Under the Hammer. And I just thought, there was a possibility of finding something, making some money off it, and that would, give me another 6 months, a year off on maternity. And that's what I did. I just started looking for small houses, rundown houses, and looking how I could do them up and make some money at that. So that's how I started in 2015. And yeah, I've been at it ever since.
So when you started in 2015, what location were you in Ireland at the time?
No, I was in Yorkshire, a little town called Sorby Bridge, which, you probably can't even find it in a map. It's not that small, but and there's loads of people I know. There's loads of ones, since they're in that area. It's near Leeds. It's a great wee commuter town. But yeah, it wasn't like a big city or anything like that. And essentially, the first property I did was in a town about 30 miles away from there. It was the only one I could find that was under £50,000.
Wow.
So,
Glory days.
I know. So yeah, I used to travel up and down with my very hungry baby crying in the back, literally stopping at every hole in the hedge to breastfeed him, and to get up and down to this little house, get it. I had a guy was working with us at the time, and yeah, he was doing most of the kind of, all the work of it, and I was, picking the kitchens, the tiles, that type of thing. And yeah, doing it with Freddie in the car seat at the back, and changing his nappy and feeding him up and down. Decided I thought I would paint that one. And he absolutely squealed the place down. And that lasted 2 days. And then I was like, no, you can't bring your kids to renovations. But yeah, I loved it. But then I realized, you have to pick, for me at that point, then I had to look at places that were closer by. So my next project, I looked at something that was in my little town and was easy. It worked around my life and around my kids and stuff. So yeah, that's what I did.
So back in Ireland now?
Back in Ireland since 2020, I think, whenever COVID hit. In my Yorkshire journey, I flipped loads of houses, and then started renovating houses and holding on to them through the power of Instagram and property events and the millions of podcasts that I've listened to over the last 10 years. I built my own portfolio. I still have a portfolio of houses in Yorkshire. I did something in the region of 30 renovations before I came
Wow.
to Belfast, Northern
In
Ireland.
5 years.
Yep. I was,
Wow. And 2 kids.
and 2 kids, but when I was moved here, Freddie was only 5. So yeah, I literally started doing 4 or 5 a year and then holding them, selling them and then holding them. And now, yeah, that portfolio has enabled me to have a monthly income now for the last 5 years. We had our little girl, and my husband was adamant that he wanted to move home. I wasn't, to be honest, overly fussed because I was loving what I'd built for myself in Yorkshire. But I was just happy to go with the flow. We sold our family home. We bought a field in a little town called Moira. And yeah, my husband and I decided that we would build our dream home, which was really stressful because I was doing it remotely from England. We decided we weren't going to use a contractor because we always come up with these silly ideas. And I was so stressed, like beyond stressed, flying back and forward, trying to manage renovations, and start this build. And then COVID hit, which was actually a blessing in disguise. We moved home, we've got a rental around the corner, and then we managed it, close by, which was so much easier. But obviously, COVID had its challenges. People went into lockdown, the price of stuff went through the roof. Well, we thought it was through the roof until you start renovating houses now and you realise it wasn't actually that bad. But it seemed really bad at the time. But to be honest, we, like everything, we just always look at everything as an opportunity, and we were close by. And then we managed it. We ended up moving into the house before it was finished, did homeschooling from here, had builders in different parts of the houses. We were cordoned off type thing because you weren't allowed to be in close vicinity. And we just got through it and made it happen. So yeah, our house is absolutely stunning. I designed every element of it, from the chimneys to the cornicing to the everything that's all around it was all in my head and is just a vision of what I wanted it to be. So yeah, I'm really lucky. And, through hard work, we kind of made our budget work. But I think that's kind of what we always do. That's kind of the philosophy we always have. Just make it work, get on with it, get it done.
So we obviously built our house at the same time as you did yours. So I was
Yeah,
going through sort of a similar level of pain at the same time.
yeah,
Tim obviously did originally want us to live in a caravan on the land, which originally I said yes to while we converted the barn. And then we went to look at caravans, and it's like, why would you spend 35 grand on a caravan when you could just spend it on rent and be in a comfortable 5 bed
yep,
detached house, which happened to be the best decision anyone would make because guess what happened? COVID equaled homeschooling. Oh my God. That is a time in my life I never ever want to go back to. So me and you were kind of like both building these dream houses on really small budgets with these little kids and
yeah.
trying to do property development and God knows what else at the same time, which I think is
Yeah.
quite unique.
I know, I do remember sharing with you like a picture of our view from the back. It's like, oh, look, I've done something. You put one story on Instagram and then the real story in real life is
Yeah, I remember that
sitting in a
actually.
building
Yeah.
site and you're like, we got a dog as well in the middle of it and we
Yeah,
couldn't.
so did we. We got winter as well. Like what? Poor winter.
These gorgeous tiles now, this stupid dog was running around, singing in the muck. And yeah, it was just like, and yeah, we decided to rent close by as well. We wanted to
Yeah.
do the caravan thing. Thank God we didn't, or we would.
It's just some stupid whimsical idea, isn't it? You're not doing that
Yeah,
with kids in tow. It's just
no,
impossible.
no,
Just
no.
literally impossible. Yeah, so there's been a lot of similarities, kind of like where me and you have been at on a personal level, I
Yeah,
think, over the years for sure, which is like we've survived it, right? Just
I know.
about.
Exactly.
So obviously, like moved back to Belfast, built your dream home, which if your Instagram will be in the show notes to this, and anyone needs to click on and see it. But like literally your house is mind blowing. It looks like something out of a Jane Eyre book novel. Not that I've ever read one, but like if you were to kind of think about like whimsically kind of beautiful Irish manor house with like loads of old detailing that's just gorgeous. That's what I see when I see your house.
That's that's what my brain is. That's what's all
Yeah,
that's in
yeah.
my head. Like I literally, ever since I can remember, I've always loved going to old houses, walking around them, pretending I was in Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, I can
I
see
went,
it.
yeah, I went to this gorgeous old school. And the reason why I wanted to go there was because it was old and had chandeliers and big, seats and leather seats and stuff. And like, I just love it. Like, I don't know why. And I don't know, I think I've been born in the wrong era, but yeah, all things. I just love seeing the beauty in all things. And I love that they stand the test of time and people enjoy them forever. Like you just always feel lovely when you sit in a nice Queen Anne leather chair. I don't know why. I do. Anyway.
So back in Belfast, so what happened with the property developing when you moved home? Did you stop it or did you carry on?
So we stopped the property development. At that time, we just needed to stop all investment. We had secured properties, but then we decided, hold on a minute, we don't know what's happening. We had to finish our house. So we did that. And then I took a bit of a break from property for a year or two and for various reasons, and started a different business. And to be honest, my heart just wasn't in it. My heart's in houses.
Mm.
And I can just see the value in all the time with houses. If you buy a house, it generally will always be worth more than what you paid for it. Whereas if you're kind of like in a business where you're selling something, it's nearly worth less by the time you've sold it. So I just couldn't fathom this out. I was like, the property just makes more sense. So yeah, I went back to property about 18 months ago. I purchased a small two-bed in Belfast, did it up, had it rented out as a corporate let, and then I also had my first house that I bought when I was like 24, did the same, re-renovated it, had it let out as a corporate let, and really seen that as a business model that could make me more money than your traditional buy-to-let. Bought a third property to HMO it, and I had a disaster really with that. Planning didn't go to plan, and so I kind of had to go to plan B, which was basically do it up and flip it.
Mm.
And to be honest, it didn't, it hasn't really made a profit. It was one of those things that has been a steep learning curve for me. But I think that's the reality of property as well. Like not everything is going to be a winner. Not everything is, going to hit the headlines in terms of, big figures and things. But I do always think as long as you learn from it and move on, sure, what's the worst that can happen? We've sale agreed that property now and somebody will be moving into a house that they really love. So, and it looks really well and it's been done up to a high standard. So, it wasn't the outcome that I'd hoped for, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. We've moved on and hopefully just continue to invest now in Belfast, Northern Ireland.
That's the thing with HMOs. There's so much complexity and red tape around them, particularly with planning. And also, I don't want to go off on a big tangent because I get aggravated by talking about planners, but it can be quite subjective to why things are a yes or a no.
Yeah.
And, things can escalate quite quickly. And with all the due diligence in the world, sometimes you can't control that part of the process. So what it sounds like to me is that come what may, you bought in the right area because you've been able to then sell it on, And I think that one of my kind of my number one thing that I just bang the drum on to everybody that I work with is that if you buy in the right area, if you understand the area and you buy right, you won't go too far wrong, even if the goalposts completely change and you end up, doing some plan D on the property. Like it kind of is what it is, and that's what it sounds like for you with that
Yeah.
situation.
For 100%, 100%. Like we bought at the right price. Like, whenever we got the survey back, there was, various issues, and we nailed down the price even further than what was agreed. And thank God, because that did give us the opportunity, kind of do the renovation and walk away. But yeah, Northern Ireland has its tricky parts. It has a history and things that maybe other places don't come up against. Like we do have, it's not a political statement anyway, but they do have planning will be persuaded by voting and things like that. They don't want local votes, and it is a strange thing, but that's part of being in Belfast, Northern Ireland. So you just have to kind of roll with it, move on, and I'm sure some other project will come and it'll go the way we want. So it is what it is. Nobody's been harmed. So I just think, it's just a learning curve, move on. Don't let it affect you.
Well, you survived homeschooling in COVID, so everything's easy after that, right?
Yeah. And getting a dog in the middle of homeschooling.
This episode of the BEESPACE Podcast is kindly sponsored by the wonderful people at Landlord Furniture Co. Specialising in a huge range of high-quality bespoke furniture, Landlord Furniture Co. provides durable pieces designed to last in your rental properties. If you're searching for the perfect furniture to attract professional HMO tenants, or need more resilient pieces for your student accommodations, considering cost-effective furniture packs for a larger property, or looking for something more personalised to elevate your serviced accommodation brand, whatever your need, Landlord Furniture Co. will craft a solution for you. You can say goodbye to rubbish old flat packs and start investing in a luxurious experience for your tenants. Backed by a 3-year warranty and exceptional customer service, they really are the smart choice for any landlord or property developer out there who takes their properties, their tenants and their business seriously. So ready to transform your spaces with Landlord Furniture Co. and ensure that your investments stand out in the market? Visit Landlord Furniture Co. today at www.landlordfurnitureco.co.uk, or you can head to their showroom, which is in Oldham, or find them over on Instagram at Landlord Furniture Co. Now, let's get back to the episode. Talk to me about the Belfast kind of HMO scene. Kind of what's the current offer there? What was the opportunity that you spotted? Why did you kind of want to move into it?
Ever since I've been a student in Belfast, and I did a podcast through COVID with Mike Steinhouse inside Property Investment. It's always been my dream. Like one of my goals is to have a portfolio of student HMOs in Belfast. I do feel like there's a real gap in the market. Like some investors are doing amazing things in Belfast. They have really good projects, and I know Eddie you've worked with, he does amazing HMOs, and I love his work. I would love to do, more of that. I would love to really get into the student offering in Belfast, and maybe like Coleraine and Portrush, that type of thing. For me, seeing 10 years of kind of developers in the UK, because, I've been following them for years. I know so many of you. It's like you see what really nice designed HMOs are like. I do think there's like a real gap here of stuff that stands out. People are doing some really good stuff, but I think with a bit more thought and direction, they could, really offer something really different. It is a competitive market, and I do feel like us women and men, but mostly women, I do think we can kind of bring something else to the table where it's not just whatever they found at the back of the DIY store is kind of in the HMO or the Airbnb. It's like, wow, this place looks amazing. Like we all know we like staying in places that look amazing, like holiday in them, we like living in them. So it's kind of bringing that service to developers and investors. I just don't think there's much of it here in Northern Ireland.
So that leads me on to my next kind of question then. So you've recently just relaunched your brand with a new name.
Yeah.
New incredible look and feel, which I've had the pleasure of supporting you through the creative process of bringing it to life. So tell us all about your amazing new brand. What's it called?
My new brand is called BUNKR. And it stemmed really from a conversation I had about 3 or 4 years ago where this lovely lady came to meet me from Hong Kong, and I was talking about investing in Belfast. And, you know, was coming up with something. And I just thought, oh, if I ever had a HMO design-led brand, I would call it BUNKR. Like, I just think it sounds really cool, like these little quirky places that you could sleep in, stay in. But I suppose it's kind of evolved out to Airbnbs, HMOs, Airbnbs. I just think, you know, you can create something beautiful from anything, really. And yeah, so it was like, I actually took the Instagram name like about 3 or 4 years ago, but never
Manifested
really.
it.
Pardon?
Manifested it.
Yeah, I manifested it. I was BUNKR 3 or 4 years ago, but I never had the confidence or belief in myself to kind of really go for it. And then last year, I just thought, you know, the whole kind of planning process can be so long. And I do feel like my head goes 100 mile an hour and waiting on planners to decide what they're going to do with my
Not
investment
for you.
pot. I think I could have had done 10 houses done by now. I just thought, you know, why don't I kind of start talking to ones that I'm in groups and stuff with and work with, and see if they would you know, take a leap of faith of me in helping them design their HMO. So yeah, that's what I've done. I started working with 2 different developers here in Belfast, and I think we've, through that process of kind of sitting down from the start, thinking about what that they want it to look like, what it could look like, and then executing it from, you know, conception to, you know, actually getting out there. I went back and studied interior design last year. I've always been like one of those people who likes to formalize things. Like, I get a certificate for everything. So I have my certificates. That means I must know what I'm doing. Um, but I just wanted to kind of formalize and kind of feel confident in what I was doing. So, yeah, and it turned out, you know, you do these studies and you realize you know a lot more than you think you do. And stuff comes naturally to you. Like, you see, well, to me, I think anyway, you see when things go when they don't go. So yeah, I started rolling that out. So yeah, I'm BUNKR now. I been working with yourself and Jordan from Studio Canada, and kind of just bringing, you know, talking about the things that I like, the colors I like, the patterns I like, bringing it all together into like one cohesive kind of brand. And it's been amazing. Like, I do feel like it's really excelled my confidence, belief in what I'm doing, my professionalism. So now it's all just about rolling it out and kind of achieving the dream, my dream.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you know, like what a privilege that you'll be offering this design service for investors in Belfast. I can guarantee you that you will disrupt the market with this service, because that's what I did back in the day in Nottingham. It was like, oh, you want me to work for you and design these houses? Yeah, sure. And it had such a positive effect. And it really, what happens is you positively disrupt the market, and it improves standards, because by default, people want to do a better job, want a better product. So
Yeah.
it's a really exciting time that you're going to really pioneer being design led in Belfast.
Yes, I know. Well, that's the hope. And I just hope that people see the passion I have for it. You know, I do feel
Can't miss it. Can't miss it.
like people are investing a lot of money,
Mm.
and, you know, it's kind of the, you know, you want to have the right tradespeople by you. You want to have the right electricians, the right plumbers, people who are doing the right job. And I think design is part of that. You know, there's like, it does make me kind of quench, is that the right word? When you see them open the door and you think, oh, who picked those hall tiles? Like, ugh. Like, that doesn't go with that. Who picked that? Have they done like a supermarket sweep down in IKEA? Which obviously we all love IKEA. I mean, pick stuff that matches or like goes together or is part of a desired look. Like before this podcast, I was doing a photo shoot with one of, so I did last year. There was one that I released with some one of the developers, and we're in the process of releasing one at the minute. And the photographer walked in and he said, "F star star star. This is gorgeous." And I was like, "That's exactly."
That's the reaction right there.
That is the reaction I want right there. And he's like, "Oh my goodness." He's like, "I see some properties, but this is amazing." Because I
Oh.
can see why you're so passionate about getting this photo right. And I said, exactly, don't mess up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel really pleased and privileged that, we've kind of executed, a vision that was kind of thought of 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And it's the same. There's another one coming out next week, and I'm working on a number of Airbnbs with different investors in Belfast at the minute. Stunning Airbnb up the north coast, which is like a real privilege to be working on. And God, a list of different things. I have my own HMO coming out in the next, hopefully, 4 to 6 weeks, but planning still is to be approved. So we'll see. I'll not say too much about it. Hopefully the sun shines in me. And I get it. But yeah, there's so much going on over the next 3 months that, yeah, I'm just really excited. I just think it's kind of all coming to light now, and it's all in my head and it's all coming out.
Yeah, and that's a really like powerful time for you as well. So you kind of just alluded to it a little bit there. So obviously you've got, you're busy. You started this new business, new design service. You've got your own property portfolio. You've got two little kids, well, under the age of 10 now,
Yep.
at home, looking after dogs, houses, all of that jazz. Like, how do you manage the juggle?
Well, some days better than others.
Same.
Some days I look like I'm some sort of superwoman. Other days I look like absolute bobbins. Uh, but I think it's that thing. Like I have found this process of working with you of really being like, just kind of take a step back, get the help, prioritize what you need to do. And kind of bring it back to, does that make my money? Do I need to do that? And also, sometimes you just have to push yourself a bit harder. Do you know what I mean? I do feel like you can get a lot of stuff done. You don't have to be sitting tushing about doing nothing. Sometimes an extra half an hour in the evening can make such a big impact on what you can get done in the week. So I do think, I'm so privileged that I can work around my kids and, be running off after this to get them. I'd prioritize their needs over my own, if I'm honest, but it's what makes me happy. And the juggle is just trying to be as innovative as you can about getting what you need for life from what you've got, really. And kind of looking at ways you can make money and still be there for your kids. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an answer for how to do it. I just kind of keep doing it until I drop.
I think what's kind of comes through for me quite a lot, and you're a great example of this, is I think often people go into property development, they buy some houses or do something with some houses, and my kind of whole mantra this year and kind of moving forward is looking at creating those multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
So looking at, you've got your property portfolio, but what other ways do you have within that to be able to generate other revenue streams, whether that's, starting a design business or starting a lettings arm to what you're doing or a cleaning arm to what you're doing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like different layers of monetizing and your experience and leveraging that to be able to create multiple streams of income through your property portfolio. Because I think that's such a wonderful and privileged thing that we're able to do as property developers. So I know that this, really creating BUNKR, really putting it out there to the world to say, this is what I'm doing, this is what service I've got, this is how you can hire me, this is how I can support you, for you is going to be instrumental in the next level of growth that you go through. And I think that's the future of property development. Does that make sense?
100%. Like I feel like at the end of last year, the property that we had invested in hadn't gone to plan. And, between September and January, you get constant messages, some boilers broken, the roof's leaking. There's constant stress that, doesn't make the grid. You're not telling people about. And, you do have to find money from different, pots. And I do think, kind of looking at what your skills are. My skills is definitely vision, seeing something, what it can be, and kind of like, kind of smoothing out the bumps. Like if you know that you've got money coming in, whenever the boiler's broken at some, property that you're responsible for, it's not such a stressful scenario, whereas it can be. Like if you're kind of relying just solely on your portfolio to bring in an income, Like it doesn't really, well, for me, it doesn't really work. Maybe it does once you get to a massive scale, but at this point, we're not there yet. So basically, yeah, I do feel like doing like another service that complements your skills. Like other people are better at managing things. Some people are better, like I do feel like I am good at designing things, envisioning things, delivering, with all the kind of contacts. It's like, okay, we can make this look like that. Let's get it done. And I can roll that service out for someone and make their life easier because they're better at something else. So, yeah, it's good. I do feel like it really complements me and just keeps me inspired and motivated to keep going.
I would say with you, because we've known each other for, probably 9 years, you have consistently been obsessed by interior design in that 9 year period. Not once have you missed a beat on the obsession. I don't think I know anyone that loves tiles more than you.
I love tiles. I mean, I could tell you were tiles. I know them.
But my point being, being able to turn that into a new revenue stream is just amazing, isn't it? Like great, like you're able to now do that and turn that absolute genuine passion. You can't buy that into a business. Like, yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want more women to do, especially when you do have the juggle, like you said, your kids come before your own needs. Same for me as well. But like to be able to start a fresh business that is absolutely lights your fire in every single way and enables you to go out and buy loads and loads and loads of tiles. What a great place to be.
Exactly. And it is because of the work we've done together that I have the confidence now to like go, right, okay, it is that thing you say of like wrapping it up and going, right, what is it you are all about? And it's like, this is what I am about. You will not find a more passionate team member on your team than me that will come in and see this house and be like, this is the kitchen you need in here. This is the way we're going to lay it out. This is the tiles you're going to have. This is the color you're going to have. These are the lights you're going to have. I just love all that. Like I literally I know you're supposed to have boundaries, but people I'm designing for, like they message me nonstop. I message them, and I like that kind of rapport and energy. I like high energy. I like enthusiasm. Let's get it done. Let's make it amazing. Let's try this. Let's do that. Yeah, I love it.
So if somebody sat there then and they're like, oh my God, I would love to create a property portfolio, have a journey like yours, like what would your kind of one bit of a key advice be to somebody? How do they do it?
I don't know. I don't know whether like there's like a first step, but I think you just have to dig deep and, dig deep, believe you can do it. Kind of start looking where you want to invest or what you want to do, kind of see what money you have. But it is a hard journey. I do think you do have to really have confidence in yourself, belief in yourself, and just keep going. When it's a bit pants, just dig deep and crack on and believe you can do it.
Be resilient.
Be resilient.
Indeed. But listen, I'm going to wrap the pod up there now because real talk, you've got to rush for the school run. And this is the realities of life.
Yes.
But no, listen, Charlene, it's been an absolute pleasure to support you over the months. And no one's going to get more of a bigger kick out of watching you grow this brand and, just buying more tiles than me. So I'm so excited for you. And anybody that finds you, comes into your world, works with you, is honored and privileged because you are the real deal and you know exactly what you're doing. And I have no shadow of a doubt that you're going to improve the standards and make the awareness of what better looks like and why we want to do that, why we want to facilitate that for our tenants and grow that in Belfast. I just know that you'll do it, and I'm so excited to see what you do in the future. And I know you've got other things because we've discussed it up your sleeve to grow your brand and just go out there and just take over. So thank you for your time today. Thank you for coming on the podcast. And if people want to find you, how can they do that?
I'm on Instagram as __BUNKR. It's BUNKR. And I have a website coming soon and I'm on Facebook and stuff. But my main hangout is Instagram, and love any new followers. And if I can give you any tips, I'd love to.
Amazing. Thanks, Charlene. Enjoy the school run.
I will. Thank you.
That's a wrap for another episode of the BEESPACE Podcast. I've been your host, Jade McNeil, property developer, mentor, and business coach. Don't forget to subscribe on your favourite platforms. And until next time, remember, don't believe the hype and always keep it real.